Now in England, we are taught, if there's a fire, you evacuate. That is, and this is kind of my response now to all those who wrote on LT, like, oh, you should have made people stay in their apartments. You have fire doors for a reason, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get that now, and I understand that now. But I'm coming from a place where I'm taught you evacuate. Yeah. So I knocked on every single neighbor's door as loud as I could. I shouted, fire, 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 like we're taught. And I was carrying children down the stairs. I was getting them out. And I evacuated my whole building.
Hej alla lyssnare och välkomna till Täljepodden. I det här avsnittet träffar jag filmmakaren och fotografen Daniel Brace. Han har ju lagt ut mycket av sitt arbete på sociala medier som du säkert har stött på någon gång. Den här intervjun kommer till största delen att göras på engelska. Då Daniel är mycket bekvämare med att prata just sitt modersmål engelska. Och jag gör såklart mitt bästa att haka på. Okej hörni, jag tycker vi kör igång intervjun. Du lyssnar på Täljepodden. Jag heter Tröst Evans. Filmaren och fotografen Daniel Brace är den engelskfödde Södertäljebon som fått polisen i staden att dansa The Harlem Shake. Han har filmat och fotat åt SSK och Syrianska FC och har fått Södertäljes volleybollklubb att skjuta trickshots. Han har gjort musikvideo åt rockgruppen Orange Club i Scania-rinken och han har hjälpt Team Favela att sprida sitt budskap om ledarskap i filmform. Han har på film själv blivit nedsprutad med vatten från brandslangar i ALS-kampanjen som var populär för några år sedan. Och han har klätt sig i riddarrustning heter det, för att spegla den moderna riddarens problematiska vardag. Ja, och om du har varit på krogen och fastnat på vimmelbilderna som LT publicerar så är det troligen han som tagit bilden. Med mycket, mycket mera. Daniel Brace, welcome to Täljepodden.
Thank you very much. You've done your research.
I have. Okay, good. That's good. So how are you today?
I'm good, thanks. Like I said, straight from work, but feeling good and looking forward to this interview. Thank you for having me.
Oh, nice that you came. So what is your work then?
At the moment, I'm working as a student developer at the International Engelska Skolan in Brunsing. That is kind of 75% of my time. And obviously the rest of the time is working with the production company and for what I'm known for.
So this job, is that something you like to do or?
It's amazing. It's always something I've wanted to do, and I have done in the past before I moved here to Sweden. Working with children or working with what I call the future is very, very rewarding, very nice to do, and interesting. Every day is different.
Cool.
Oh.
All right, man. When I read the intro, I mentioned just a few things you've done over the years as a photographer and filmmaker.
Yep.
What went through your mind when I read this?
It's like, wow, I've done quite a lot. Not to sound kind of arrogant, but yeah, I've done a lot. I've met a lot of amazing people and done a lot of really, really cool kind of projects. So it's nice to hear it back. It's like when your life flashes before your eyes, but in a good way.
But do you like go back yourself and like look at old stuff and?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there are. I think you have to, as like a filmmaker, you have to look at your old stuff to see how you've improved. Yeah. I'm always trying to improve myself anyway. So what I do is I look at the kind of the old things I've done, like for example, the Mingle TV that we used to do in the nightclubs, and think about if I was ever to do that again, how would I do it better? One thing I'm looking at quite a lot is our acoustic lounge series, where we took artists, local artists from Södertälje who had singing talents and instrument playing talents, and then we would put them in my apartment and film them singing covers. Yeah. We gave them the option. They sung one cover and then they could sing one of their own, and then we put that out, and that became quite popular. That was popular within the music kind of sector of Södertälje, and that's something that's been playing on my mind that I want to continue. We haven't actually filmed that for like maybe a year and a half, and we normally do 2 seasons a year. So, yeah, that's one of those that I go back to quite a lot.
So how many episodes did you do? Do you know?
We did 3 seasons and a Christmas special.
All right.
First season we didn't have any like proper sound equipment. I think it was just 2 cameras, and we took the sound from, well, the acoustics of the room, basically. We were quite lucky that it sounded okay.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I brought in a guy to do sound engineering, a guy called Zacharias, and he was fantastic. He was putting microphones in places that I never thought you would need to put microphones when you film these kind of things. And then we saw a very huge leap in the quality of these covers and these performances. So then obviously we brought him back for the 3rd season, brought a couple of the artists that were very well known and liked into the 3rd season as well. And then during the Christmas special, we had a lot of different artists as well, but they were singing obviously Christmas themed songs. And it was like a kind of advent calendar. We had one come out every week or so, or 2, every week.
So do you think it's easy to get people to do these kind of things?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you know so many people, they obviously know somebody who can sing. You'll always meet somebody who knows, I have a friend who's a singer, or something like that. And Södertälje has, it's amazing. I think out of the whole of Sweden, some of the best music and artists come from Södertälje. It's crazy because there's so much talent out there. It needs to be shown, and it's things like yourself, like this podcast, and film companies like myself, who are pushing these and showing people, and it's fantastic. Yeah.
So do you think? So what was the response from the audience? If we take the music thing, for example.
Positive, yeah, very positive. Yeah. We didn't seem to attract or kind of would have attract trolls, if you know what I mean. And when I was out doing my mingle photos in the nightclubs at the weekends, a lot of people would come up and say, "Oh yeah, I've been watching your acoustic lounge, and I think it's awesome. And can I be in the next one? And or I have a friend who would like to be in the next one." So the want to be on the series is there. It's just the time and obviously the effort of bringing everybody together to do it again. Yeah. So that's my only difficulty with filming another series. It's a shame, but it's a large crew that does this. I mean, we have 3 cameras, we have a sound engineer, we have a makeup artist who will make the girls look even prettier and the boys look even prettier as well, and assistants and lighting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So all compact into one small apartment.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of people to do a production like that, I suppose. It's not like here there's just you and me.
No, but I mean it's whatever the production needs. To be quite honest, I mean for example the podcast, you can do this fantastically just with yourself. That doesn't mean that it's not hard. You put a lot of effort into this. You put a lot of work into this. With a production like that, I need to have more people because there's more cameras. Otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot running around 3 cameras and slightly moving one, then running to the other, slightly moving the other. I have a fantastic filmer called Eleanor who she does the close-up shots. Now she does the kind of shots that I could never do, and that's why I want her in there as well. Okay. The sound guy, he can do fantastic things. Like I said, putting microphones wherever it needs to be. Yeah. I would never think of having 2 microphones pointed downwards from the ceiling. I mean, it's
why?
Yeah, exactly. But it works. That's the thing. And then obviously the other guys, all play a very important part. So as much as I want to do as many things as possible, I know I can't on something like that. So yeah, You're right.
So you surround yourself with talented people, I suppose.
I think you have to. Yeah. I mean, it's if you do that, then you become successful yourself, and they become, more successful as well. Yeah. It's a team effort. Breakzilla Productions obviously has, my name in it, but I make it very well known that there are a team of people with me. Whenever I make a film or whenever I do a production like this, always, without questioning, will put their names at the end and what they do. It's, it's normal. For me, it's normal anyway. I mean, there's many people that might not do that, but for me, it is.
That's very good. That's very good. Now, we're obviously speaking English right now.
Are we?
But the question is, how good is your Swedish?
Inte så bra. Jag kommer här 10 år sen. But unfortunately, I have a slight dyslexia when it comes to learning languages. Right. So jag vill prata Swinglish, half svensk, half English. But now with the new job, working in the school, obviously the children there, it's grades 4 to 7. So a lot of them don't speak English. So I think I've learned more in this month and a half of being there than I have in the 10 years. Yeah. But it's not to kind of make any excuses. You guys are absolutely fantastic in English.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Is that true?
Yeah. Swedes are fantastic. Okay. I seriously, before I moved here, I didn't really know much about Sweden. Okay. Up to the point where I thought it was going to be snow the whole year and that there's polar bears walking around on the street. I apologize for that now, but that was my thing. And another thing was that I thought, I'll be speaking Swedish in 6 months. Okay. Because maybe these guys haven't met many English people, or English isn't really taught in schools. But the first couple of people I met when I came over here, they're like, "Hello, mate, how are you?" And I'm like, "Wow, I'm either lucky that I met a couple of people that speak English, or this is what the whole country's like." And now I've come to know that you guys are absolutely fantastic.
And we kind of like to speak English, right? I mean, we don't mind it really.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, you have a couple of people that say, you live in Sweden, why don't you speak more Swedish or blah, blah, blah. But I mean, that's normal. I think, you have that in every country. Yeah. But yeah, you guys do like to practice and you do like to talk in English. And for me, that's no problem. And I will never laugh if somebody says a word wrong or whatever. I'll just kind of say, oh no, it's said this way. But I hardly ever have to do that because it's just so good. Yeah.
But do you see that we are doing you what's it called? Not doing you a favor by speaking English to you?
That's quite a good question. The way that I see it is, I think you're doing me a huge favor because this isn't your mother tongue. I know how frustrating it is for me to try and speak Swedish, and that is with the dyslexia, of course. But even if I didn't have that, I would know how frustrating it is. So when people are coming up to me and I see that they're trying and they are speaking English, I mean, that's amazing. That you are actually taking the effort to do this. Yeah. And I love the Swedes for that. I think it's amazing.
Pretty cool.
Oh.
So where are you from? Where are you born?
Where am I born? Actually, from London originally. Right. Moved to Oxford actually grew up in Oxford mainly in a little village called Kidlington, just outside. Went into the military as a military medic, and then when I came out of there, decided that I wanted a bit of a change of scenery, so I moved to where my mum is from, in Macclesfield in Manchester. Right. So you can probably hear a little bit of London accent, but then a bit of Mancunian will come out, every now and again.
So how was it growing up in Oxford?
It was nice. Like I said, it was a little quaint village, nothing, no kind of, I can't say I've come from the hood or anything like that. It was a pretty normal childhood, went to school there. It was just nice. It was, nice little village. Nothing really to report, as they say. Right. Yeah.
Do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have a sister. She is now 17. And there's 17 years difference between us. And she is a half sister, but of course I call her my sister. We have the same father. So, and she's still living in England.
All right. Yeah. So when you grew up, what did your parents do?
My father was a police officer, and then my mum was working for the police at the police headquarters in Kidlington.
All right.
Now, obviously, with them splitting up when I was younger, my dad's retired, and he's now a ambulance patient transport driver. Try saying that after a couple of drinks. And my mother is a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, so she kind of teaches special needs adults to get back into work. So, yeah.
So has that been an inspiration for you as being working in the school atmosphere today?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I do take a lot of inspiration from my parents. I get my kind of humor and stuff from my dad, and then the professional side, comes from mum as well. And yeah, the teacher thing, when mum was telling me about what she does and how rewarding she feels, that was something that I had in my mind as well when I went for this job. But like I said, I've always wanted to work with children. When I was nursing in England, I was working in the children's ward. And then out here, I've done a lot with like the junior clubs, like obviously Team Favela and Syrianska and things like that. So combination of things. Yeah.
So you've been around a bit.
Yeah, you could say that. Well, from your introduction, yeah, it sounds like it.
But tell me more about the military.
Military, I was a Royal Air Force medic.
Yeah.
So I was the one running around with a Red Cross.
Why did you want to do that?
I mean, like everybody, you go in, you do your test, and they give you a list of things that you can do.
Okay.
And I felt...
Is that something you have to do in England, or...?
Before you join, yes.
All right.
Yeah, you do like what they call an aptitude test.
Yeah.
And
But it is voluntary.
Oh yes,
okay.
No, we don't have conscription in England. We used to have it, but way back. So you can volunteer. And the thing is, my mum was a Royal Air Force air stewardess. My father was a Royal Air Force police officer, and my granddad was a Fusilier. So we have military runnings in the family. Okay. So of course it was natural for me to go there as well. So yeah, I did the test, saw my options, and I felt that medic was the most rewarding and most helpful to my country, and that's what I chose. So yeah.
So how long was that then?
That was 3 years, and then I got injured, unfortunately, and then had to come out from there, and that's why I went into civilian nursing from there. So.
Is that something you feel bad about, that you have to leave, or
no, not at all, not at all. Because I did quite a lot, in civilian nursing. Yeah. It was one of the jobs where you go home smiling. You feel I've done something today. That's for me is very important. So that's what I'm feeling with this job as well. That every day you're helping children out. They'll have disagreements, or they'll have a little problem or something, and if you fix that, even if I just fix one thing a day for a child, then I know that and they're happy, then I know I've done my job for the day.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool. I was thinking, okay, so you came to Sweden.
Yes.
Why?
Fell asleep on a plane, woke up here. It was the first cut. No,
it happens.
No.
Happens.
You know how it is. No. I met a Swedish girl in England, Sophie, and we got together, of course, and we lived together in England. Actually, her mother was quite high management for AstraZeneca. And where I was living is the other AstraZeneca office. So she was over with her mum, together with Sarah Hiller, who you've interviewed before.
Exactly, yeah.
And we stayed together for a couple of years in England, and then Sophie got homesick, like most Swedish ladies do, apparently. So I've heard. I can neither confirm or deny if that's true, but
me neither. I don't know.
Yeah. So I remember she turned around to me one day and she was like, I want to go back home. I want to go to Sweden. And I said, well, do you want me to come with you? And she was like, yes. And I remember sitting there for 20 minutes in silence, just looking at the English TV rolling by, and I'm like, not knowing anything about Sweden, of course, thinking, can I fight a polar bear, or will I survive a moose attack or something like that? And then I just turned around and said, yeah, I'll come with you. And I think it was 4 months later, we sold everything, including my drum set.
Oh.
Thank you. It doesn't hurt me at all. I promise. I still don't get flashbacks, but sold everything, and we were on a plane over to Sweden, and thus begins the new life.
Yeah.
So
what was your first impression? Did you come to Södertälje immediately?
Yes. Yeah. We stayed in the basement of Sophie's dad's house. So the first impression was driving from Arlanda to Södertälje and seeing the shop Willys and laughing and taking pictures of it and sending it to my English friends. Then seeing a sign for Tom Tits and again laughing and sending pictures.
So it was a blast then.
Yeah, it was good. I was excited.
Yeah.
I still am. I'm still excited to be living here. I was excited. It was a new life. Yes, of course, I was a little bit sad leaving my friends and family. But that side of my life, I knew that I could still keep in contact with. I still knew that, I have a telephone. I can contact my friends whenever they want. They can come here if they want to. I can go, to England. It's just a short flight. So yeah, I was excited. And my first, to refer to your question. My first impressions were, wow, look how beautiful this country is. Like seriously, and it was cold, yes, because we came during the winter. But that was what I expected anyway. So if I'd come here in the summer, then it would have been an even more different. But I was very happy, very happy.
Was it easy for you to in terms of getting work and friends, and how did that pan out?
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I've been here, the whole 10 years, I've only been out of work 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that was the first 2 weeks that I came here. And I started working at a sales company because I wanted to kind of continue my nursing. I did. But I say 80% of nursing is communication. And unfortunately, 80% of the people that go into hospital are quite elderly. So I didn't feel that it was right or fair for somebody who is already quite stressed being there, already in a kind of bad place, to have to then think about speaking a different language or to have to struggle to explain how they're feeling or stuff like that. So I thought, I can learn the language first. 10 years later, here we are. And then continue, then I can maybe get into it. But things kind of took a bit of a change, and I got myself a sales job, like most kind of expats do when they move over here. And I was working for a VIP sports company for a while. Found out I was kind of good at it. Stuck with them for, I think, 2 or 3 years. And then they kind of downsized the office.
Okay.
But I was still in contact with, obviously, Sophie at the time. And she got me a job at the place that I worked before the school. And yeah, I was there for 8.5 years before now moving on to the school.
Okay.
Yeah, so finding work.
Like doing what exactly?
Selling I was an international sales manager.
All right.
For a media company. So I'm selling kind of internet advertising, advertising for like magazines as well as websites, news websites and stuff like that. So yeah, it's. I mean, if you're 8.5 years in a sales company, then you're obviously doing something right.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, and then obviously moving on to the school now. But in terms of finding friends, like I said, you Swedes are amazing. I've not had any problems with finding friends. They say Swedes are reserved and blah, blah, blah. Well, that is until you have a couple of beers. And so I went out quite a lot to the bars and just kind of walked around, and one friend leads to another. And of course I met some of Sophie's friends as well, and that led to a bigger group, and then blah, 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 blah. And then once I started working in the nightclubs, then you meet quite a lot of people there. I remember, I think the first Wednesday that I was here. Now, remember, I don't know nothing about Sweden. I don't know, I'm coming from England where pub mentality is everybody goes out every day after work and they have a couple of beers, and, you kind of meet people there. So I'm like, okay, I'll go out and just go and meet people on a Wednesday. And I remember walking into Gravediggers and firstly seeing this gigantic man who works there, and thinking, Jesus, do all Swedes look like you? And he's like, no, I'm special. Like that. And then I'm looking around the pub and I'm like, oh, where is everyone? And he's like, oh, yeah, we don't have that kind of mentality over here where, you know, people come out pretty much every day and stuff like that.
Mostly weekends kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And don't forget, this was in the middle of winter as well. So, you know, so it took a while to form a group of friends.
Yeah.
But luckily, like I said, Sophie, moving back, had quite a lot of like parties and social gatherings because her friends wanted to see her. And then, you know, I would meet them through that. So, yeah, it's not really been a problem in that sense.
That's very good.
Yeah. It's amazing.
But I guess you're mostly known as in this town as a filmmaker and photographer.
Yes. Yeah.
But where did your interest in photography and filmmaking start?
I've always had, I mean, professionally, it's only been 6 years now, or 7 years now, I think. But before then, the first time I know that I ever picked up a camera was when I was 15. And my father, obviously working for the police, back then it was the huge shoulder-mounted cameras that had VHS tapes in them. Huge things, you know. And I was quite a small 15-year-old, so when I saw this thing, I was like, "Wow, it's like from the TV. It's crazy." And he was doing, I think he was doing like some observations on some place, so he had to bring this camera back with him.
Okay.
And one day, he had a day off, and my dad just gave me a blank tape and this camera, and he said, you can play around with this if you want. And I remember me and my neighbor, we just went crazy for a day, and we did our own TV station. So we had like a news segment, we had adverts, we had stupid like comedy shows, we had this, that, and whatever, all filmed in one day. And I promise you that tape will never, ever come out. That will never come out.
Damn it.
And that's where I kind of got the bug for that kind of stuff. So I was always the one at school, like if they were asking for a photographer for an event, I would put my hand up, oh yeah, I can do this, or stuff like that. Or friends' parties, I would always grab the camera. If I was ever going to a wedding, you know when they leave disposable cameras on the table, I would end up, you know, having all of them and taking the photos for the weddings as a kid. So that was the first time I got the bug. But then when I came to Sweden, of course, and like I was only doing sales, and there was nothing really else that I was doing. I was like, I need a hobby, of course, and managed to get hold of like professional camera equipment, and then it really kind of took off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was like your first job? Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah. First job here in Södertälje was I brought myself a little JVC handycam, which basically is smaller than my hand. It's like what these vloggers used to use. And there was the Vattenkrig on Maren.
Oh yeah, okay.
Big water fight, and that was organised by Moa Lundqvist, I think. And I think we knew each other through mutual friends, and she knew that I liked taking photos and things, and she asked if I wanted to come and film. So I was like, yeah, might as well. I've done some silly, YouTube videos. Let's see if I can do something quite, cool. So I wrapped my little JVC camera in like kitchen cling film, made it waterproof, put it on a tripod, and just went in the middle and kind of filmed, ran around with it, and filmed people squirting water, and the quality was awful, and there was water all over the lens, so you can hardly see anything. And I took it home, edited it in like the simplest program I could find online, put some music to it. Luckily, a DJ that was there sent me his mix that he used on the day.
Okay.
Put it all together. It was like 10 minutes long. It was like you can only watch like the first minute and a half and get like, oh, I know what's going on here. I don't need to watch.
I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Like there's water, there's people running around. Like this could have been a 2-minute video, but it wasn't. It was like 10 to 15 minutes. And then I got a phone call from Lilla Aktuellt.
Okay.
Who asked if they could use it in their report of the Vattenkrig here in Södertälje.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So from the bat, I was on like national TV from that one. So they used a little clip. They had a little report. It was really good. I got sent a Lilla Aktuellt T-shirt, which kind of only went halfway down my stomach, which they thought was really funny when I sent them the picture back. And yeah, it kind of took off from there. So that was the first ever film that I did here.
So like starting up a production company, was that like a a given thing to do immediately, or?
I mean, once that happened, then there was a lot more people asking me to do stuff.
Okay.
But the thought of having a production company didn't come into my mind at that point because people weren't offering to pay anything. You know, they were saying, "Oh, we can give you exposure and blah blah." And because it was a hobby at that time, because I had the time, you know, for it to be a hobby. Then I was like, okay, I'll come and do this. I was saying yes to everything, you know, even though exposure is the worst word for a filmmaker or for anything. I mean, you know, for example, like yourself, if somebody was to say, "Oh, can you come and record this or work your magic on this and we'll give you exposure," you know, it's like, okay. You kind of say it through gritted teeth. But for the first couple of years I did everything for free, you know. So it was only kind of when the natural progression came of, instead of people saying, "Can you do this?" to "How much will this cost?" which did come naturally. It was crazy. Then I had to okay, now I have to think about Skatteverket. Now I have to think about this. I have to think about tax and all this. I have to do this. And obviously I have no idea about how to kind of, I had no idea, about how to run and start a company. I've never done that before. Never been a CEO or of anything. I was head of the school council when I was in school, but that's about it. And so I kind of sought help from as many people as I could. And luckily, Lina Schulte from Södertälje Centrumförening helped me with all that kind of stuff. She helped me with the paperwork. She was like, "Look, we want to hire you to film the summer concerts, but obviously we're not paying you black, and I know that you don't want to be, you know, paid black. So we need to do this in a legal and right way. So this is the time that you need to start your company, especially if you want to start getting paid for stuff." And so she helped me with that. She set up the company for me, and all of a sudden, within like a couple of weeks, I'm the CEO of Bracilla Productions. And then I have to think about things like, I have to get a website, I have to do a Facebook page, I have to get business cards. So it was hard. It was very, very hard work. But like I said, the natural progression made it that I had to do that.
So how many people, I mean, the production company, like you said before, isn't only you, or is it maybe?
It's only me basically on the paper.
All right.
And then what I do is I hire freelancers. So for example, with the sound technician, Zacharias, he will come and work and then he'll factor me for the day's work. My kind of co-producer, Eleanor, will factor me as well if I need her to do filming, and it's the same with all the assistants and stuff like that. So it's good because I've told them all that they need to do it in the right way as well. That's kind of how I do it. But I have like what I call my A and B crew, and the A crew is for like smaller things, and they're the people that I need, and they're the people that are pretty much available all the time. Okay. And then I have my B crew, which is an extension of that if we're going to do like larger things. Like for example, when we did The Moral of the Story, which is a short film that was scripted by a guy called Pontus, we had a team of like 10 or 11, and that's because we needed it. It's and that's what we call like the B crew. So.
But let's talk about that film.
Yes.
What was it about?
The Moral of the Story. It's a gaming themed film where we follow a hero, and we follow him through this stage of a game basically, and it's all about kind of how you act, how your morals are. And there's a little twist at the end, because obviously you can tell from the first that it's a game, but then what you don't realize is that the camera's then going to pan to the people playing the game. And it's all about their discussion and their morals. And then obviously the ending kind of puts everything together. I don't want to obviously give away the ending. It's about morals.
So how's it working with that big of a crew? Is it easy to be like the boss?
It's fine.
It's
I
fun,
mean, I mean, these guys are professionals.
Yeah.
So when you work with professionals, it makes it 100 times easier. Everybody that I know are amazing at what they do. They're amazing at the work ethics. You know, they're safe. They're not going to run around and you know, break things or fall over things. So yeah, when you work with professionals, it's a lot easier. Yeah.
And how about actors? Are they easy to find? And
Like I said, Södertälje, it's crazy. You have so much talent in this town. It's unbelievable. So to find actors was fine. I mean, Pontus pretty much already had that locked down on who he wanted for each actor.
Okay.
I think just the worst actor that was in the film was myself, and I could see that because, you know, I haven't really done much acting, but these guys have done quite a lot through you know, their schools and stuff. So you could tell the difference between kind of we say pantomime. Pantomime is like what you do at Christmas. You know, the kind of very over-exaggerated way of acting and stuff like that. And I'm kind of more of that, and these guys are much better in what they do.
But you still act in a few of your movies.
I do, yeah. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I have a face for behind the camera, or a face for radio, as they say.
Okay. Says who?
Says me.
Okay. Fair enough.
And so I do like, obviously, being behind the camera more, but there are times where I'll read a role or I'll see something and I'll be like, you know what, if it's all right with everybody else, I would love to kind of step in and do this one. Plus, it's also it's like a day off for me.
Yeah.
You know, you know, like for example, like I give it to I give that job to like our photographer Frida or Eleanor, and they will be in charge of that certain project, or Pontus, of course. And it's good to see them work and know that they can run a crew and be as good as a director as I can.
All right, let's see where we are here.
I feel like I'm on the Bandit Rock again.
Oh yeah. So have you been on it, or you been working there? Or?
Yeah, I did. I know the sheriff who's on Bandit Rock through Ike or Hockey, and we did a couple of comedy skits where I played a guy called Roger Weather, where he would randomly phone me up every day and find out what the weather's like where I am.
Okay.
And the kind of premise was that my name was Roger Weather, so of course I should know how to be a weatherman. But I played the part of a very busy CEO who traveled a lot. So whenever he would call me, I would be in another country. And I gradually get more and more pissed off with him calling me.
And talking about the weather.
And talking about the weather. Right. And so, yeah, that was quite... And that ran for about three weeks or so. And we're looking to bring that one back. Then I've also kind of stepped in for other things that they need for the radio station. And I even had like we had one where I was in Stockholm with my daughter, and he took us into the studio and he's like, right, we're going to, you know, pretend that you're visiting Stockholm so you and your daughter can come into the, you know, and we actually co-hosted his show for one day.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, that was really, really cool.
So it was you and your daughter then?
Me and Olivia. Yeah. So she's 7 years old, and she was fantastic. Yeah. So
it's cool.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So you have one child then?
One child, little Olivia, 7 years old, my little princess, as we say. Fastly growing. Too fast, I think. And she's a little teenager right now. So, you know, whenever you say to her... when you say no, instead of like, okay, Dad, it's why.
Okay.
Why, Dad? Like that. And it's like, because I said so, you know. And sometimes you find yourself questioning yourself, like, why am I telling her not to do this? Or why am I telling her to be quiet? But, you know, there's a reason. And she's a fantastic little girl. So disciplined. She's doing very well at school, having no problems with, you know, learning, and having no problems with making friends. So it's... we're very happy.
So how do you communicate with her?
Oh, in English?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kids just they don't have a problem with that, do they?
It's crazy. Yeah. when just before she was born, of course, me and Sophie had a little chat with the doctor, and we're like, of course, we want her to be bilingual. We want her to be able to speak both languages. So, what's the best way of doing that? And the doctor said, quite simply, Sophie, you speak Swedish, and Daniel, you speak English.
Yeah.
Because what she's going to be able to do is differentiate between the two languages. Because she's going to think, okay, Daddy's speaking this, and Mummy's speaking this, so it must mean that there's two different things.
Yeah.
And then she will then start to understand that this is one language and this is another. So for the first 3 years, she did speak to me in Swedish, but she understood what I was saying in English. And then it was only after a trip to England where she had to speak English that then the English it seemed like it was like overnight. Then she just switched.
That's just amazing.
Yeah. I mean, kids, they're like sponges. They just take everything in, just absorb everything. And she's, like I said, she's now fluent. She can hold a good conversation like me and you are doing in English. There are some grammatical errors, but I mean, of course, she's 7.
She's young.
Yeah, she's 7 years old. But I know that once she starts studying the language as a subject at school, she will be able to switch those certain words around and things.
That's pretty cool, man.
No.
If we talk about how do you pronounce it?
Bracilla. Yeah,
it's Bracilla production.
It's a combination between my last name and Sophie's last name, Sophie Hiller.
Of course.
But for legal reasons, I took the H away, so she can't get 50%. No, I'm joking. No, it just sounded better taking the H away and having it as like Bracilla.
Yeah, okay.
But then I found out that Illa translates to ferret. So every time
It does.
Every time I Google Translate any paper articles about me or anything like that, it's Brace Ferret Productions.
What?
Yeah, because Illa is ferret.
Yeah.
So when say if LT write about me and they put Daniel Brace from Brace Illa Productions, obviously I'm Google translating the article so I can read it.
Okay. Translating. I missed that.
Yeah. And so it's Brace Ferret Productions.
So how do you feel about that then?
Sounds cool, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's the Swedish division of Brace Illa Productions.
It is.
Oh.
So, as we've talked about, you've done a lot of productions. Is there something you would like to do more of? I mean, you talked about the music thing. Is there something else?
I mean, of course, I would like to make more films. I mean, my kind of... When I was doing mostly films, now it's mostly photography, but when I was doing mostly films, I wanted to obviously be in like, the Stockholm Film Festival. I wanted to be on the big screen, my kind of films and stuff. So yeah, I would like to do more of that. I would like to have more scripts to do, but with that comes having to have more time to do these kind of stuff. So yeah, I would like to do that. I would like to do the acoustic lounge. That's kind of more easier because that's a day filming. We film everything in one day. The neighbors love it. but yeah, we give them quite a lot of time in advance that we're going to do this. Okay. And it sounds good. It's not like it's, banging and stuff on the walls. Yeah. So
I mean, it's free music. I mean, come on.
Well, there you go. They get a free concert and they're always invited. I mean, last time we had a couple of our neighbors come over and they just watched, and
really?
They really enjoyed it. So
really cool.
There's no problem. So yeah, I'd like to do more of that. I'd like to do a lot more kind of public service announcements like my drink drive campaign that I did last year with the police, where we did the kind of mannequin challenge but with a twist. That I felt out of most of the movies that I do was the most kind of well received. We got in the national newspapers for that, Expressen, Aftonbladet, SVT, so many outlets shared it and shared the message, and that's what we wanted. I wasn't doing this for monetary gain or for fame game or anything like that. I literally did this because if I saved just one life with this, then I'm happy.
So it's stuff like that you would like to do more of?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how come you did about drink and driving? Was there any special reason for that? Or?
Well, I've worked and and kind of still have a very good cooperation with Södertäljeborna and with Trosa and I think it's Gnesta or Gneta. I keep getting them mixed up. Gnesta. The police and there as well. So I've done a few films. I've done a few kind of private films with them, and I've also done like very public films, like the Drink Drive campaign and the April Fool's joke that we did, I think 2 years ago now, or last year maybe, with the hoverboard. Where
was that okay?
That was me. Okay. Yeah. So I wrote. In fact, I was really proud of that one because I wrote the script for that.
Okay.
And got it translated into obviously Swedish. And the police were so good. Like I said about before, working with professionals, you know, it makes it so much easier. And Peter Nylander, who was the guy in charge, I basically sat him down and we filmed it in 2 parts. So the first day we filmed the practical side of things where they pretended to have a training session on these hoverboards because this was going to be the new police transport system. Obviously at the time hoverboards were big, you know, we take that in, and the police were in the news, of course. They're always in the news anyway. And yeah, we filmed that part, and then the next day I was in the conference room with the head of Södertälje Police, and I'm showing him the clips that we've done, and I said, you know, watch this and then do an announcement, you know, do a commentary on this. And like an absolute professional, he just came out with this fantastic kind of commentary, like, hi, I'm, you know, head of blah, blah, blah. This is our new initiative for this year. We are going to have, you know, hoverboards as our new form of transport. And then I obviously gave him kind of cues, like, we want you to talk about this because we have clips for this, and we want you to talk about this. And just, it was like, it fooled so many people. And that's what we wanted to do as an April Fool's joke. We fooled so many. And I look at the comments. I even go back to them sometimes, and I look, and there's people on there like, I can't believe the police would waste taxpayers' money on this, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, dude, can you really not see that this is like an April Fool's? Firstly, it's posted on April the 1st. That's the main thing. But secondly, it's like, really, you know, and even like the other Facebook pages, police Facebook pages, like the traffic police, they commented on there saying, we are going to add a new article to our law under section blah, 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 to allow you to be able to use this on a highway and stuff like that. And the police museum in Stockholm even commented as well, and they said we would like to get our hands on one of these to put into our museum. And it was really cool. It was really, really cool filming. So yeah, they did fantastic. They've done awesome on that.
Is there any kind of stuff you wouldn't do? Or maybe that you've said no to?
Adult films.
Yeah, okay.
Quite simply. I have been asked to do them. And I feel that's not me. Another side of it as well is if you put your name to one of those, you're never going to be doing mainstream stuff ever again. That will be your filming thing. That will be what you're known for. Oh, there's the porn director or blah blah blah. So no, I wouldn't do that.
All right.
I wouldn't do anything that would constitute as making somebody suffer either. Just I think like common sense really, and with that question, you know. So
you could probably make a long list anyway.
I could, I mean,
if I wasn't familiar with any of your work, what would you recommend that I'd watch first? That kind of represents your work.
Good question. Well, I have a show reel, so I mean, I would. What I normally do is, if people ask to see some of my work, I direct them to my YouTube channel. I mean, that's in this modern age of social media, it's the best thing to do. If it comes to my photos, then I'll put them onto the Facebook page so they can see all the albums that we've done. You know, things like when we've done weddings, the couples have been amazing enough to let us share maybe 15 to 20 pictures from the wedding and put them up.
Yeah.
When we've done photo shoots with families, they've been kind enough to let us show off, and that's what you need to do. You know, of course, people know me as a photographer, but they don't know my style. They don't know, they may not know, my style and stuff like that. So yeah, I always refer them to kind of social media pages when it comes to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how important is YouTube for you?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. I mean, it kind of helped me get some of the equipment that I have now. I have 2 videos which are over 1 million views. I have one is the police Harlem-Shake that you mentioned before. Then I have another one which wasn't really so big here, but for some reason was huge in America. Okay. I was on CNN, I was on Good Morning America, I was featured on many internet-based shows like Yahoo News, MSN back then. That was quite huge. Yeah. This is all before, this is before like BuzzFeed and Lad Bible and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, CNN kind of shot that one up quite a lot, and that was the Toddler Hide-and-Seek, where when my daughter was around 3 years old, I put a GoPro on her head and we played hide and seek. Yeah. And it was from her perspective of her playing this game. So she would run behind the sofa, then you would see me run away, and then she would like chase straight after. And it was really interesting to see what she would do, where she would go and different places that she would look, where I was, and her reactions when I wasn't there, or the reactions when I was there, and hearing her and stuff like that. And it was so kind of interesting that we had a couple of like child psychologists message us saying, can we use this in training? Because toddlers at that age, they don't really move their eyes, they move their heads more. So if they want to look to the left, their head will move to the left instead of just with the eyes. So they were like, this is amazing, we haven't ever had this perspective from a child before. Okay, can we kind of use this? So, and that was, like I said, in America, and then loads of major newspapers picked up on it after CNN and things like that. And now it's like at 1.7, I think, million views. Really? And yeah, and because it was all mine, because it was all my copyright, there was no music there or anything like that, I actually made money from the ad revenue. Yeah, I didn't from the Police Harlem-Shake, of course, because of the song and everything like that. But from this one, I made advertising money, so I was able to then buy better cameras and better photography things. Okay. I also had like an injection from my dad when he retired. So I brought quite a lot of equipment there, and so yeah, it's kind of shot me up with that, with those good. Two. Yeah. So it's been a very, YouTube has been huge for me. Right now, I don't really use it that much. I'm more on kind of like, I do like comedy videos on Instagram, or I will, because I'm doing mainly photos, it will be like my Instagram photo page or Facebook page. Or other Facebook pages, like for example Caesar's and Club Maren, when I'm taking photos for them. I Call Hockey, when I'm taking photos for them, they'll share it on their web pages and they'll share it on Facebook, etc., etc. And of course Syrianska. So I'm kind of spread out quite a lot on different things.
So you're getting your name out there every day, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, man. I've been looking through the media, well, mostly Länstidningen, and I found a few things that I thought we would just talk about shortly.
Absolutely.
You work, like you said, as a photographer for Syrianska FC.
Yes, I do.
But last year, you got injured at a game.
Yes.
So what happened?
So we had it was a derby. Syrianska versus Assyriska, and of course for Södertälje, that's a huge thing. And I was, when I'm taking photos, I'm very close to the fans and I'm very close to the side of the pitch. There's only, I'd say, maybe 3 or 4 foot in between, where I can walk along. And this was at the time before Bengals and bangers were kind of banned from football matches. And of course, it's a good atmosphere. You have smoke, you have, all these noises, you have drums, you have, the fans. And I was walking along the side of the pitch, and I remember lifting up my camera and the next thing I just saw a bright flash, and my hearing went. It's huge, like boom, and then my hearing went, and it was like somebody hit the side of my head with like a baseball bat, and I kind of tumbled a little bit and like fell to the ground. And I remember, because I couldn't hear anything, I remember just feeling like people's hands on my cameras, because I wear like a double camera sling. So they were undoing that, and they were taking off my my vest and stuff like this. Apparently they were taking off the vest because it was like burning from one of from the actual banger itself. And it turns out that what had happened is somebody had thrown one of these small bangers, which is like a small explosion thing. You light it and it goes off with a huge, explosion and noise. But it had gone off right next to my head. So it had been thrown from the crowd, but because there was a lot of smoke and everything, we determined that it wasn't actually aimed at me. It was just aimed at, where they were throwing it. I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But yeah, that, and then I just remember being picked up, and the next thing I saw was a police officer who was like, I know he was talking, but I couldn't hear anything. So I was like pointing to my ear going, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And he was like waving, come this way. And him and two of the supporters who had jumped down to help me then kind of escorted me to the side of the pitch. And then gradually, after like 5 minutes or so, hearing started to come back, but then it was like ringing in my ears. And and I actually remember like it came back, so I thought I was okay. And then a couple of days later, I got a phone call from the club, who were really, really supportive. They were like, look, we obviously want to help you, and if there's anything we can do, did your cameras get damaged? Is everything okay with you? Have you been to the hospital? And I was like, well, no, I haven't, because my hearing's come back. And they were like, look, we need you to go to the hospital and get it checked out, or to the doctors, sorry. And I went to the doctors, and I remember sitting there, and the local newspaper was lying on the table, and I'm flicking through LT, and then all of a sudden there's an article about me and the reason why I'm sat in the doctor's office right now. So they picked up on what had happened and wrote like an article. So when I went to see the doctor, he's like, oh, so how can I help you today? And I said, well, here you go. And gave him the local
Here's the
news.
full story.
Here's the story. Have a look. And obviously jokey, but I told him what had happened, and he looked in one ear and he's like, yeah, that's fine. And then he looked in the other and he went, oh, that's not so good. And I remember saying to him like, oh, you're not supposed to say that, but okay, thanks for being honest with me. So yeah, I had to have medication for 14 days to replace the lining in my ear, the protective lining, and had to have couple of days off work as well for that. So,
but is your hearing like back full?
What?
Is your hearing back?
Sorry.
Damn it!
I got you. I
Yeah,
pranked
you
you.
did, didn't you?
Right. No, it's fine. It's fine. There's a couple of times where especially if I'm in a quiet room, there'll be a little bit of a like that. But that will only come for like a minute or so, and then it will kind of go away. But no, I feel fine. Yeah.
But you kept working that day, I read also.
Yeah, I did. The thing is, I wanted to finish my job for the fans.
Okay.
Because the amount, every time we've had a derby, literally, I can't even leave the stadium, and I'm getting Facebook messages. When are the pictures out? When are the pictures out? Show me the pictures. Where can I see the pictures? Blah, blah, blah. So I felt that if I had left that day, I didn't have my hand blown off or anything like that. So, I stuck on a pair of ear defenders and carried on with the rest of the game for the fans and the players. So, yeah. I didn't want to let anybody down.
All right. Okay. Another thing I found was there was a fire in your apartment building.
Yeah.
In Grusåsen.
Yes.
And the headline was like a hero, a fire hero or something.
God.
I don't know if the translation is correct, but
yeah. I mean,
what happened?
I love the attention. I love to read myself in the newspapers, and I love.
Who doesn't?
I love to hear people talk about me and stuff. But I don't think I was a hero that day. I think maybe kind of the opposite. I was a bit silly. But I came out of my apartment, me and my girlfriend at the time came out, and because we were the first that used to leave the building, because we work in Stockholm. So we were getting the bus at like 7 o'clock in the morning. And we're walking down the stairs. We lived on the top floor. And I'm thinking, God, it's getting a bit foggy here. And then as we got down and down and down, we're like, shit, that's a fire. Sorry if I can swear. Or, so then I we started running a bit faster. And then I told her to get out and call the fire brigade. So she went out, and then I went down a couple more stairs. And it turns out that in our electrical room or storage room, there was smoke just literally licking the top of the door. Now, I was thinking, well, I have a fire extinguisher upstairs. Maybe I can kind of put it out myself. But then when I saw the flames coming out the top of the door, I was like, no, because I've watched Backdraft too many times. I don't know. I'm not a fireman. So I was like, probably not a good idea to open this. So I thought, well, the second thing is to evacuate. Now in England, we are taught, if there's a fire, you evacuate. That is, and this is kind of my response now to all those who wrote on LT, like, oh, you should have made people stay in their apartments. You have fire doors for a reason, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I get that now, and I understand that now. But I'm coming from a place where I'm taught you evacuate. Yeah. So I knocked on every single neighbor's door as loud as I could. I shouted, fire, 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 like we're taught. And I was carrying children down the stairs. I was getting them out. And I evacuated my whole building in less time than it took for the fire brigade to arrive, who arrived really, really quickly. So, yeah, I think that's why they call me a hero. But when I look back at it, again, I had to go to hospital because I had smoke inhalation. It did affect my breathing, and it kind of put me into a kind of small depression because I had shock after it. It probably was best if I had, like, just left the people with the fire, because the fire was fine. You know, you guys came in and put it out, and then, you know, took the smoke away. But like I said, I come from a place that tells you need to evacuate.
So people have been commenting on this.
They did in the times where this happened just before LT took away the comments.
Okay, yeah,
exactly. So I read some of the comments. I mean, on my Facebook when I because I went into shock, and I can't remember doing this, but I was sat in the ambulance, and apparently I took a picture. And I think I took the picture to send to my boss to say, like, I'm not going to be coming into work today. And then obviously I took a picture of my apartment and stuff. And it was then somebody said, well, why don't you post that and say what's happened today? So I posted it on my Facebook, and then people were commenting. My friends were commenting, well done, blah, blah. My English friends were like, good job, you know, all this kind of stuff. Then there was a couple of friends who were like, a couple of Swedish friends who were like, oh, you know, but we are taught just to stay in your apartment if there is smoke and things like that. But all I was obviously thinking about is, oh, the smoke's going to go into people's apartments. It may affect. I knew that there was a lot of children in the apartment. It may affect them. So I went and got people out. That's the safest thing to do. And when the fire brigade turned up, everybody was at a safe distance, and they were all out. So, but then when I read LT, obviously the people that don't know me, and the kind of keyboard warriors, as we say, because I think that's the reason why they took away the comments, was it was just negative. No matter what story there was on there, it was just negative. And I'm reading these quite hurtful comments of like, you could have put somebody in hospital if if they went out into the smoke and blah blah blah. And I didn't really have a platform to reply and to say, like, dude, this is what we're taught to do in England. You know, we don't have as many kind of like high-rise buildings from where I was from. You know, we're taught to just get out. Especially, same when I was in the military. You know, if there's something happened in our blocks, we were told to get out.
All right.
so that kind of like upset me a little bit, but and that's why I keep saying like that's what we were told. But so it wasn't nice. But you learn from things like this. I know what to do next time.
True.
So,
and I'm not going to give you any grief about it, even though I'm the one of the people that teach people this.
Yeah.
But everything went fine. So I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, the fire chief came up to me. I mean, I remember he opened the door of the ambulance and he looked me right in the eye and he went, "Well done."
Very good.
Like that.
There you go.
So
there you go.
So that kind of made it a bit better.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. Thanks.
Ja hörni, jag får nog passa på här och kliva in här på svenska en snabbis. Det Daniel menar är ju då att vi i Sverige och säkert i många andra länder, vi på räddningstjänsten där jag jobbar, lär ju ut till barn och vuxna att brinner det hos grannen eller som i fallet som han berättar om i källaren, så är det tänkt att om man bor i flerbostadshus ska stanna kvar i sin lägenhet. För att den då är tänkt att kunna motstå brand och rök i 60 minuter. Anledningen till det är ju då att ett rökfyllt trapphus är ju en farlig plats att vara på flera sätt. Det är ju väldigt svårt att se när det är rök och man kan helt enkelt tappa bort sig själv trots att man har gått i det här trapphuset kanske flera tusen gånger. Men den största risken är ju givetvis att rök från brand är ju fruktansvärt giftig. Vi har ju då möjligheter på räddningstjänsten att göra trapphuset rökfritt genom att öppna till exempel rökluckor då, som ofta sitter högst upp i trapphuset. Eller de fönster som finns i trapphuset. Och sen hjälpa ut folk den vägen också. Eller via kanske någon stege från balkongen eller fönstret. Upplever man att man får in rök i lägenheten ändå, så kan man ju då gå ut på balkongen eller då öppna fönster och påkalla uppmärksamhet till brandkåren när vi kommer, eller då ringa 112 och meddela att man är i lägenheten och att man vill få hjälp att komma ut. Men då som Daniel berättade att han har ju då lärt sig egentligen tvärtom, att det man ska göra vid en brand är att utrymma fastigheten så fort som möjligt. But I mean, it all went well in your case, so I mean, who am I to say anything else?
Well, there you go. Well, you're the professional.
Thanks. So, do you have any other hobbies?
No, I think this takes up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to play a lot of online gaming, but that's kind of the photography and the filming and editing and stuff like that kind of takes over my evenings. Now with the new job, that's taking up a lot of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't really... Not that I don't like to do other things. I mean, of course I like to do other things. I mean, if somebody calls me and says, "Hey, let's go bungee jumping" or something like that, then, yeah, I'll give that a try. But in the kind of hobby side of thing, no, it's still photography. I mean, it's my passion, you know. It's so... Yeah.
So you're lucky you get to work with it as well, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly.
Will you be a Södertälje for life now, or what do you think?
This is my home now.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people ask me that. You know, they say, "Oh, are you ever going to move back to England?" Blah, blah. But no, I think for me and for like my friends and my family, it's not that I don't miss them, but they come over. I mean, my family come over every 6 months or so to see Olivia, and then Olivia will try and get over there to see them. And my friends, it's better for them to come here because for them it's like a holiday. If I go back to England, it's the same place I used to hang out with. Yeah. So it's fine. For them, there's a little bit of a kind of difference coming out here and being able to relax and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll definitely be staying. Definitely. Even if my daughter, when she becomes older, she's like, "Oh, I want to move to England." Fine, you do that, and we'll see what happens from there. Yeah.
So you've been there for like 10 years now?
10 years now. Yeah.
So what do you think about the city today then?
Today, my only grievance with it is the standard of the nightlife. And everybody will say this. This is nothing new. When I came here 10 years ago, we had Magasinet, we had The Strip, we had Fem Fem Noll, We had people you could see on the main road at a certain time of night, just taxis from other places coming here to Södertälje, and it was full everywhere. And that's why we started the Mingle TV, because we saw that every club we went to was full. So let's do something about that. Now, not so much. Now, you see clubs that are central in town, like Club Maren and things, not getting many people in. It's up and down with Club Maren. Some weeks it will be completely full. Others it may be kind of empty. But it's an amazing place. It's so nice. The staff are fantastic. Security at the doors are fantastic. The people that go there are amazing. But it's not what it used to be.
So what do you think is going on? What has happened?
I mean,
or do you have a theory, basically?
Well, we have. I mean, we do have a very strict. I can't remember the Swedish word, but the people that kind of rule the rules about owning bars and clubs and things like that. That's very strict, and it's very strict. Like, for example, in Stockholm, you're able to advertise drink specials and things like that, and you're actually allowed to advertise events and things. Over here, not so much.
Okay.
In Södertälje.
Okay.
And there has been incidents maybe at clubs and things that have kept people away. But honestly, I don't know. They're just theories, and it's not me just saying that. These are collective theories that I've heard from other people as well. I think that's pretty much what it is. And I don't know. I want to see it change. I want to see it go back to the days that it was, where you would go out and say you were like stood at Maren. There'd be as many people in Maren like if we had like the Södertälje Festivalen every Friday and Saturday. And you'd meet different people all the time, and it would be, it's pictures of different people and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. And I really can't see any change unless people just come out. And they see these places like Club Maren. And, if you haven't been to Club Maren before, go to Club Maren. If you haven't been to Flamingos before, go to Flamingos. And then tell your friends about it. Go to Template Bar, and tell them how good that is. Go to Gravediggers. There's loads I can mention now, but and then just let's get more people out in Södertälje. And then when there is more people out, then maybe there'll be other places that will open. Because the people who own the bars here, they have a very good relationship with each other. Caesars, obviously, because it's the brothers one that owns Caesars and one owns Club Maren. They can tell people, okay, after you've had a couple of drinks here at Caesars, pop over to Club Maren. Yeah. So there is a family kind of thing with the nightclubs and the bars here. So yeah, we just need to promote that more, and we need to just get more people out.
Just encourage people to go out more in their own town, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah. Support your local community.
Yeah.
It needs to be done.
Do you often go back to England?
No, I haven't been back for a while. I only seem to find myself going back for funerals and weddings, as they say. That is purely because of a time, having the time to do it. And also just, like I said, friends and family come here.
Do you miss it?
Yeah. But as I mentioned before, not in a way of I get sad about not being in England. Yeah. Because I do see my friends and I do see my family, and social media now you can just
it's become way easier.
Yeah, you can just phone your friend from England for free on Facebook Messenger.
That's crazy.
You can video with them. I Skype with my mum and dad quite a lot. They can see Olivia. They can see Olivia growing up. They can see the changes, and we can speak about them. So yeah, it sometimes you kind of forget that you are living in another country. Oh.
That's very good. I mean, technology is amazing sometimes, basically.
Oh, yeah, crazy.
So, buddy, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, my first interview in English, how did I do?
You were fantastic. 11 out of 10.
Thanks, buzz.
No, seriously, it was very, very good.
Thank you. Do you know any Södertäljeborna that I should interview, you think?
Ooh.
Probably know a few, I guess, but...
I know a few, but the thing is, they've been on your show.
Oh, okay, that's a good sign, I think.
So I'm wondering why I was like the last out of all of. No,
Sorry,
I'm joking. Maybe you were just working up to the English. That's We'll just say that. We'll say that. I do, and I mean I know a few, so I think that will be a conversation for
Fair enough. Man.
another day.
Thanks, man.
Definitely.
All right, Daniel Brace, thanks for coming to Tellypodden.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Tellypodden produceras av AT Produktion. Programledare Tröste Evans. Producent Anton Kylbäck.